Hey guys, Nico here, coming with another video today with the game Dead by Daylight. So firstly, just want to say I hope you all have an amazing day, of course, but other than that guys, just going to pretty much just be sharing my input and my thoughts, etc. Overall to just give you a bit more, a few more tips that you could kind of take away when it comes to actually ranking up this game. So there's a little bit of a few bits of speculation with what it is that is required. So there's quite a lot of categories. In particular, there's 4. However, they break down into quite a few things. So pretty much just to start it off here. So what we've got here is, if you're coming into the game for the first time ever, you're going to start at Ash. So Ash 4 will be the starting rank, and that's going to progress through Ash 3, 2, 1, and then you'll go into Bronze. And then it's going to go the same thing again, from Bronze 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, and then you'll be in the Silver. So forth, and then you'll go into Gold, and then as you can see on the top right, I do in fact have Iridescent 4. So once you get to Iridescent 1, that's when you will no longer be able to get any more pips, as they call it, for the progress bar, because Iridescent 1's the max rank, and you can't actually demote. So there's quite a bit around the pip side of things, guys, but we'll talk a little more in depth about that in 1 second. But as you can see at the top right, we've got a progress bar here. So the progress bar will differ depending on your rank. So for Iridescent 4, for Iridescent and also for Gold, I believe it's going to be 5 pips. And then so forth will go down to 4, to 3, and I think 3 is probably going to be the maximum, or the minimum that you are required to get each game or each time to level up. So overall guys, there's not too much in regarding the actual rank side of things, but there's a lot of detail that does come into actually ranking up and getting these progress ticks or pips, whatever you want to call them, but for the most part, most people call them pips. As you can see, for the progress in the top right, I need 5 pips to go to the next rank. So if I go back here, we've actually got a category section, which is objectives, survival, altruism, and boldness. So you can see here, when you actually finish your game, you're going to be able to see how much points you get in each category. You can see that in the objectives, I got nearly 7,000, got a half or 6.5. I got maximum altruism, which is 8k, and then 5.7. So the maximum for each category you can get is in fact 8,000. So we did max out altruism, which is really good, which probably ended up nearly giving us that additional pip in the end, which we did not. So with this bar here, it's going to be a little bit different depending on what rank you're in. So if you're in a lower rank, like Ash for an example, being the lowest rank, you might have your bar here, where my cursor's at, say down here. It depends on the rank, so the higher the rank, the harder it is to go up. However, of course, there is 3 bars right here, progression bars, as you can see. So this one here is, if you get up to this one, you won't actually lose any progress at all. So even if you have even if the killer like 2-hooks you right away or something like that, or your teammates don't get you off and the killer's strictly going for you, if you do in fact get up to this the first tick, you actually won't lose any pips or progression towards your next rank. So, however, of course, you can see we've got 2 more. So this one here is going to give you +1 progression, and then the following one will give you +2. You can see though that, again, that I'm in Iridescent, so that's going to mean that the higher, because I'm in one of the higher ranks, I'm going to be required to do a lot more each game to be able to go up a rank, and possibly even get 2 pips. So breaking down these 4 categories here, as you can see, Benevolent, which represents how altruistic you are and your team are during a trial. We did disconnect there, but that's okay. So you can see this in particular, you can actually see what is required down the bottom under progression. So you can see throughout the game, I've got +35 for Benevolent starting value, you can see that I've got 128 survivors healed. So for an example, I've healed a few people, so 128 ticks of healing, which is a bit, but it's not definitely a lot. It's definitely doable in any game, of course, not something that you really need to stress about. You can see that I've got plus 60 for unhooked survivors, so I've unhooked a few survivors, and I've also got plus 40 for safe hook rescues. So that means I've unhooked survivors, the killer's not actually pursuing him, or he's not going to go hit him. I've actually been able to safely hook some survivors, which again is a great thing, not just for the fact that you get additional progression bonus towards your actual grade, but also for the fact that it's also meaning that your teammate's getting out securely. So if you can actually see, if we read through this, you've got the first 2 times each survivor is hooked, all survivors lose points. So for an example, if the killer hooks all 4 survivors 2 times, every single survivor is actually going to lose a lot more points. You can see that we've got minus 61 hooked survivors, so I can only imagine that he's probably hooked us either 3 or 6 times in total, but I do believe it was probably 6. Going a little bit further into this, so it says safely unhooking them returns the points back to all survivors that still remain in the match. So if I did actually get hooked a second time, if my teammate does actually come along and he safely unhooks me, all these points are going to be returned to each survivor that's actually still in the match currently. So of course, if someone's killed before, they won't actually gain those points as they've been killed, so any other survivor that's alive, they will get these points towards their grade progression. Going a little bit further, we can see that the survivor performing the action also receives bonus points. An unsafe hook rescue results in a loss of points for the survivor performing the action. So if I've actually gone up and I've unhooked my teammate and he's not in a safe position and he gets down, what's going to happen is I'm actually going to lose more points towards my overall grade progression at the end of the game. You can also see that another part is other altruistic actions such as healing, making a killer drop a survivor, and taking a hit while a survivor is being carried also grants points. So just going over that, so things such as healing, that's going to also give you points. You can see throughout the gameplay as well, I'll include this gameplay, you can see that in the top right corner for any single action or anything like that that I complete throughout the game, I'm actually going to get a little bar progression at the top right, and if that goes fully around and it says max, that's how you know you've maxed out that certain thing. So it's a matter of, do you still continue doing that certain task, or do you actually go and try and focus on other things such as generators? You can also see that making a killer drop a survivor and taking it while a survivor is being carried also will grant you points too. So yeah, so that's the first category. You can see that I have actually got the metal iridescent for it. So what's going to happen is depending on how much you do for each category, I'll go out this, you can see that there's going to be a silver, there's going to be a gold, an iridescent, and of course there's going to be a bronze one too. So yeah, going to the next section, of course, we've got Evader. This category is all about your ability to stay hidden from the killer, or to be able to win chases against them. So throughout the gameplay, you will also see that I have actually been able to get away from the killer a few times. So any times that I've actually been able to win those chases against him and avoid him, then I actually do gain any sort of progression towards this, in particular this category, called Evader. So you also win points by remaining unnoticed by the killer. The closer you are, the higher the points. So the closer I am to the killer, if I am unnoticed and the killer hasn't found me, I'm going to gain more points towards this category in particular. You also win points if you escape a chase without getting hit. The longer the chase, the higher the points. Every 15 seconds you secure your points. However, you will only receive half the points if you lose the chase. Successful pallet stunts also grant bonus points towards this emblem. So you can see that in the bottom part of the progression, you can see that I got plus 11 for Evader starting value. I got 48 for stealth, 12 chases 1, 11 pallet stuns, but I also -4 for chases lost. So that's those moments when the killer's chasing me and basically the killer's lost me. Wait, sorry. I've actually lost those chases where he's actually ended up hitting me, so that's why I end up getting hooked a few times. Alrighty, next one. We got Lightbringer, guys. Lightbringer is going to be all about that objective, so there is a few ways you can get this done. However, you can see throughout this game, not too much progression towards this actual category. However, this is all about participation in generator repairs. The higher the percentage of overall generator repair participation, the higher the quality of this emblem. Pretty straightforward. So the more you're doing gens, the more likely you're going to max out this emblem and get an iridescent one. You can see that I didn't do too much gen pressure throughout the game. I had a bit of chases. I did a lot of healing, of course, but yeah. So as well as if you cleanse any dull or hex totem, as well as opening any exit gate, will also go towards this emblem. So if I opened that exit gate at the end of the game, I would have actually been able to, pretty much straightforward, would have been able to basically get more points, or I would have probably most likely would have got the gold emblem, would have been very close to the iridescent, but I don't think I would have made that one. Also, all generator repair progress other survivors make while you are in a chase with a killer will also contribute a small amount of points towards this emblem. So I got plus 63 for generator repairs, so I've done 63 ticks on a gen and 3 killer diversions. So I believe for that one in particular, it means that my teammates who are currently doing a gen while I'm in a chase, they've only been ticking a few times. Alrighty, so the last category, guys, we have actually got Unbroken. You can see that I got the gold emblem for this one. So Unbroken represents your ability to survive. Escaping a trial without being down results in an iridescent quality, while being down one or more times results in a gold quality. If you die in a trial, the emblem quality is based on the amount of time you are alive. However, the highest quality you will receive in this manner is silver. So basically what this one is saying is, if you're going to survive the trial and you actually don't get downed at all, you're immediately going to get the iridescent quality emblem, which is obviously very good. It's obviously quite difficult to achieve, especially if you come across really good killers, especially if they're going to actually particularly focus you hard. You're most likely not going to get the iridescent one. However, it can also obviously be done too, but going more into depth into this one, of course, while being down one or more times result in a gold quality. So you can see that I was down one or more times, hence why I got the gold Unbroken badge. So yeah, these are the 4 categories, guys. So the more you do in each one, overall the better progress you're going to do. Obviously this is going to affect how much blood points you actually earn at the end of the game. The biggest thing I can suggest is being aware of what these 4 categories are, knowing how much time you've been actually focusing on a certain one at a certain time throughout the game. So for an example, if you've been doing 2 or 3 gens within a game, you probably need to immediately hop off the gen, you need to go take the chase, because there's probably been a few teammates that have possibly already gone down and possibly been hooked too. So you should definitely be hopping off gens, going to get the chase. That way you've already got this Lightbringer one, most likely at the very least will be gold. If not, it will be iridescent, but hopping off gens will allow you to go and pretty much boost up your evader category. This is all about chases, so you can take the killer himself off of your teammates. This will give your teammates additional support, so they won't feel completely stressed. But yeah, it's all about just kind of finding a rhythm, knowing that there is these 4 certain categories. If you're starting out the game, just be aware that it does take a little bit to get used to and understand how the game is. You also won't have, you know, amazing perks. You'll have some decent perks, but you won't have the amazing perks that are currently out there as of 2022. But overall though, guys, It's a quite an easy concept with leveling up. Just wanted to give my input to help pretty much anyone out with when it comes to actually with how the graded progress works. So yeah, hope that helped, guys. Other than that, guys, I hope you have an amazing day, and of course I will see you in the next episode. Oh!